Welcome to episode number.
Why do you expect me to keep track all the time?
I don't know. Fun.
61.
Good job. Well done. And what are we talking about today?
My outfits from the wedding.
So it's a special another wedding episode.
Special wedding episode.
Special wedding episode.
How do you still remember that?
I actually don't think that's what it is.
It's me. Never mind. Also,
I think we didn't have a name for it.
you definitely had wedding episode.
Oh.
I remember that.
Wedding episode.
It'd be special.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we're talking about Natasha's wedding outfit. So
Outfits.
outfits.
My
yeah.
fits.
And
For the Gen Z.
I've told Natasha to be as structured as possible.
Responsible.
She has denied any structure.
Oh, Mr. People. Yeah, that's on.
No.
I'm the one.
Why are you whispering it?
I've got a kitch in my throat.
You always have a kitchen in your phone.
No, it's going when I'm trying to sing.
Okay. Over to you, Natasha.
Okay,
Tell us about your
first I want to
outfit.
say that for someone who's going to be talking about wedding outfits, I'm really not dressed well
At all.
at all.
But so am I. So
It's fucking like 100 degrees.
yeah.
I can barely function.
Yeah.
Life's been hard in the shade.
Yeah.
And that's all. That's my life update. Do you have one?
So our house that we live in doesn't have power backup. So when it gets really hot, or actually the day of our hopper, the power went out for 6 hours.
More than that.
Yeah, whatever. 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours.
9
Basically,
hours.
basically there was no electricity. By the end of it, we had no fridge, no AC, no fan,
No
nothing.
oven.
Well, yeah, I was like glomming over the fact
Yeah.
like the pop-up had no power. But thank you for bringing that up.
Whatever. People were really nice.
Yeah.
We're so appreciative of the 7 people who were there who did complain.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was hard for them,
Yeah.
for you, if you're listening. And we'll be better prepared next time.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, wedding outfits?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think I don't even know where to begin. Why don't you tell me where to begin?
I think begin with what was the first wedding outfit that you knew you needed to get first. You know, like I think you were thinking of themes throughout the whole time. And then those themes were then dictated down to me as well. And so
No.
why you knew that you were
Only
wedding
my
you wanted to wear
memory.
white?
No, I didn't know I wanted to wear white.
Then
It was just something I really liked.
you didn't start off thinking you wanted to wear white.
I started off thinking I don't want to wear red,
Okay.
but I didn't have. I actually initially always wanted to wear like a pista green,
Okay.
and I mean, I guess what the process really was for me was just looking at a bunch of like designs. So you look at Pinterest, you look at all the big designers, you look at all the small designers, the mid designers, just like gather inspiration from wherever you possibly can, and then see like, I think it's so important to really like, it's your day, you want to feel good, you want to feel comfortable, and I know that one of the biggest challenges for a bride is actually being able to dictate what she wears in her wedding, because at least for Indian culture, at least in the Indian culture, it's very like, no, you must wear this color, no, this is the tradition, you know, this is what you shouldn't be wearing. And it's that constant battle that you have one with yourself, because you know you're like fighting the odds, and then two, you're fighting everybody else who disagrees with you. Yeah, I don't. So yes, I did wear white to the wedding. It was never like I must wear white sort of thing. It was more of it was just something I came across and I liked, and so I ended up like going ahead with it. Like I said, initially I wanted to wear green, like a sage green or a pista green. I was also really hot on the idea of wearing like a lilac-y color. Not like now that I think about it, I don't think I have anything in that color, and I don't even know why I thought of it,
Yeah.
but I did. I just thought I just want something pastel. Like I don't really care about the color per se. Let's go from like day one because I think that's easier. I think for the mehendi, I definitely knew that I wanted most people on theme, at least like the family on theme. So, um, theme being just like the typical mehendi colors that you'd expect. So there's the pink, yellow, orange, green, red mix of colors. Your dad wore black.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell, Uncle? How dare you wear black? But his like Nehru jacket was all nice and colorful, so it was cute. But like, yeah, that was kind of the thought, and I just personally liked yellow for myself. Again, it's not a color that I wear a lot, but I just think it's a really nice, like bright color, and I just feel good in it.
Yeah.
So that was the idea with the color. And then as for my outfit, what I wore was from Hina Kochar. Again, something I'd come across when I was doing like general research, and what really stood out to me about their outfits was one that it was the style that I like to wear. So I always prefer to wear like a sharara with a kurta as opposed to anything else. So like you won't really see me in a sari, you won't see me. I mean, like, sure, lehenga, but I also wanted it to be different from what I would have to wear on the next day anyway.
So what did you wear?
So I basically wore a sharara, which is like a plazo pant, so like a wide leg pant, but more wide than a plazo. I'm sure people know what a sharara is, but it's just like it's a very wide leg pant.
Bootleg pants.
It's not bootleg. That's why I'm not saying like you think I don't know these words.
You didn't.
No, so gharara is tight on the thighs and then bootleg. And a sharara is loose throughout.
Okay. Plaza.
A palazzo style pant. Just Google it, guys. Google it. And along with that, I wore a kurta, which was like above my knees or whatever. And then I took a dupatta with it. That's just my personal style. I think like whenever I do think of Indian on myself, I either want to do just like straight white leg pants or a sharara and a kurta. I just think it suits me better than other things. Even like even a patiala salwar, I don't like that as much as I prefer these like loose pant things because they just look nicer on me. I feel like it makes me look taller. That's something that's important to consider, at least for me. I know I'm tall, but I still feel like I'm not tall enough. So like that's something that's always playing on my mind. And then specifically for the Hina Kochar thing, what I really liked in their designs was their use of kota patti. For those who don't know,
Natasha loves this word. She uses it all the time. Whenever there needs to be a reason to use any kind of word that has gold, the use of gold in embroidery, Natasha would just be kota.
You're so wrong.
I know I'm wrong.
He's so wrong.
But you are wrong as well.
Let me tell everybody something. As a bride, planning your outfits is equivalent to getting a fucking degree in fashion design because you learn everything. Like
Yeah.
things you didn't even think you needed to know, you will learn because either your mother will be talking about it, or your tailor will be talking about it, or some brand will be talking about it. Like you will just fucking learn it.
What are the terms? Tell me.
There's a dozy, which is also like embroidery of silver or gold.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God I don't remember them anymore. Like I remembered them at the time. Gota patti, for people who don't know, I don't know why you're taking me away from things. Is it's like a silver or a gold lace, and then on both sides of it, there's like it's closed with like an orange thread. I guess that's the best way to explain it. So yeah, I like their use of that. It was very different from the typical kota patti that you do see in a lot of like I would say like Punjabi designs. I think it's a Punjabi thing. Again, I could be wrong. Please don't be offended. I say degree in fashion, but it's not really a degree in fashion.
It's a little mini course.
But yeah, what was nice was that they had a store which was easily like sort of easily acceptable. We've already talked about Hina Kochar a lot. In the outfit.
Easily accessible?
Yeah,
Or
like,
acceptable.
accessible. Because you could go there.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how rare is that?
Yeah.
um,
Is it rare?
It's, I don't know.
I mean, you went to every
many,
store.
So many places are just like you'll see them online. I remember I went to the
No, but none of your outfits are bought online, right?
yeah. But also, like, I think what was nice about them was they're size inclusive. So they weren't only keeping like extra small. They had mediums and larges and probably extra large. So that people of our size, of my size, could go and try on something and know how it looks on them. I remember going to this other store and I can't remember the designer's name anymore. I think it was like I don't know, Mike. He does the glass work. What's it called? You know what I'm talking about? They did glass everywhere. His designs are gorge. And I'd gone to the store and I was like,
Abhinav something?
yeah, Abhinav Mishra. And I was like, I must have this. It was so beautiful. And again, I wasn't going for the lehengas and stuff. It was just a sharara and kurta. But they had, I think they had a sharara that fit me, but didn't have a kurta that fit me. And then I like, how do you deal like that, right? So I think that's what was nice about Hina Kuchar. We discussed this in the episode when we discussed Archit's outfits. They are a little difficult. They don't understand everything in one go. It is a headache. I was very specific about the color, like the shade of the yellow that I wanted to wear. So we basically made them do like dye samples on different fabrics to see what would suit me, or like what I preferred, and then got things done. But like, be prepared for a little bit of like a headache of going and coming again and again until they actually get it right.
Right.
But they're not too expensive when you think of bridal wear. I wouldn't say that it was bridal wear. I don't think anything I wore was very like bridal per se, but like they're not too expensive. It's a great option for one of these like smaller events. Definitely, like I wouldn't recommend it for your wedding outfit, but for everything else, yes. I'm so out of breath. Do you want to say anything else in the middle?
Did you, throughout the process, ever like you actually had 3 outfits?
Yeah.
Right? But then you also got a bunch of other outfits as well. Had you done your wedding differently, what would you have next and what would you have kept?
Of my other outfits?
No,
Or
of
my-
your outfit.
Of my bridal, like the 3 things that I wore. Nothing.
You just loved all of it.
Yeah.
Oh, Natasha's just too confident.
Yeah, I was really happy with my outfits.
Okay, next one.
I'm just thinking, I'm gonna like remember my face. I think like, yeah, I don't think I changed my outfits. I would have probably changed like my makeup a little bit on the wedding day because I feel like my eyes weren't enough. Like they needed to be more. You know, they need to give more. They weren't giving it.
Your eyes are giving it.
Anyway, okay, fine. So then I'll go on to my.
Wait, I have another question.
Okay.
Throughout the process, what was like you said, like a lot of the clothes that you chose were not very like wedding-y, like they were wedding adjacent.
Yeah.
And like you didn't get a lot of work in a lot of your
Yeah.
outfits. Like people get lots of work.
Yeah.
What were like the things, like principles that you went into thinking that okay, these are the things that I don't want
Yeah.
in my wedding outfit?
Okay. Fair. So,
Other than color.
yeah. So I think the first thing is that wedding outfits are fucking expensive, and buying something that you know that you'll only wear once and never again is very wasteful. So for me, I didn't want something that was extremely like heavy in terms of weight, in terms of look, in terms of feel, just because I was like, kabhi nahi pehnenge main fir se, and I would feel really guilty about that. I think just personally, I'm a more simple person, so I didn't want something over the top because I wouldn't be comfortable in it. I know that like weddings are your like day to show yourself off, but it's not worth it going outside of your comfort zone because you're in those clothes all day long. You're moving around, you're meeting people, you're posing for pictures, you don't want to feel uncomfortable at all. So I think that was just the most important thing.
And it's actually annoyingly, whenever you get married, you will feel hot.
Yeah.
Because you're also like, it's the day that you have the most attention to yourself.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's
stressful.
just, it's anxiety inducing for
Yeah.
anyone.
Yeah, for sure. cool. So then I'll go on to my wedding outfit because I want to save the best story for last, even though it wasn't the best one in my opinion. Though everybody said that they preferred my pink outfit over my white, and I was like, how dare you? Everybody's like, pink looks so cute on you. I'm like, okay, thanks for the
You only chose
generalization. I had chosen a different shade. We discussed.
Okay.
Best story. Okay, so outfit number 2, which is my wedding outfit, the white outfit. I think it was just something I came across that I instantly fell in love with. It's an Anita Dongre copy. I do not believe in spending a shit ton of money on big designers, and I do not believe that people shouldn't make copies. I don't give a shit. It's a huge market. There's so many artisans, embroiderers, whatever, making money because of it, and I think it's totally fine. Designers have enough means to make money, and I don't see the unethical side of it at all.
Why? Because the designs are being copied.
Huh?
The silhouette design.
Yeah,
color.
it's not unethical.
How is it not unethical?
I just don't think it is. It's still work being
If someone
made.
makes a reel and copies my reel, you get so triggered
No, that's
when
not
they
true.
don't give you they don't.
So I'm giving credit. I'm saying it's a copy of Anita Dongre. I'm not saying ki like, oh, mera amazing idea tha, right? Like, I'm not taking credit for it.
Yeah.
The person who made it for me is not taking credit for it. I'm outright admitting that it's a copy of a designer. I refused to go and spend that amount of money at the designer because I'm not crazy. And it was one of the cheaper things that Anita Dongre has. But I got extra stuff done, and I still got it for cheaper than I would have got it at Anita Dongre. And do I care whether the label that says Anita Dongre is on my lehenga? No, because nobody's ever gonna see it.
Yeah.
And no, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, I love Sarojini Nagar. Everybody knows
She
that.
hasn't been to Sarojini in 5 years that I've known her, so I don't know what you're talking about.
That's not true. I actually write it once. with my mom.
Oh, one time in 5 years.
It's gotten too hot again.
For 5 years, it's been hot.
Yeah, true. It's got global warming.
5 years.
Okay, fine. So, yeah, it was just something I wanted. It was a battle that I had to fight because a lot of people said no to me wearing white. I didn't care because I mean, like, okay, there is logic and then there is Indian logic. And when logic prevails, Indian logic should shut up. But people are very sentimental, but I was equally sentimental. And Archit helped, and we fought that battle together. And I got my white lehenga, and it wasn't white, honestly. It was off-white, right? Okay, so cool. What I loved about the lehenga was just that it was a lot of embroidery, but it was all thread embroidery, so it was actually really like light, very easy to wear. The blouse I designed myself. Anita, come at me. Yeah, I don't know how I came up with it, but basically the back of the blouse is like a net, like a sheer net, and then it has these. I feel like it's called Chinese buttons, but I could be wrong. But it has these buttons on it.
Booties.
No. We will put pictures in the video.
Yeah, yeah.
Of all of these.
My
things.
entire face is going to be covered by photography
Yeah.
while you explain.
Of all these things. No. I'll help you edit it.
Oh, sure.
And yeah, so anyway, the person who made it is this guy who comes to your house. This is Delhi only, so if you're outside of Delhi, please do not ask me. But if you are in Delhi, I think you should give me like 10,000 rupees if you're using him. I should be making some money as well. But he comes to your house. His name is Amit. He will do measurements for you.
What's his full name? We don't know.
Amit Taylor.
Amit Taylor. He's like a designer.
Yeah, whatever. So he comes to your house, he takes your measurements, he'll sit with you, brainstorm some designs. I didn't mean the brainstorming because I'm an artist myself. Then he copies the design himself by hand, comes and shows that to you. The design of the embroidery comes and shows that to you, gets it approved. Then it goes into production. And yeah, he was just really nice. Other than the lehenga and the blouse, the white dupatta was like the Anita Dongri dupatta, but heavier in terms of the work on it. And then I got the green dupatta made, which had a lot of embroidery in the corners because that's how I wanted it. And I liked the idea of having one chunni on my head and then one chunni in front. That can be the little traditional side of things. And yeah, that's kind of how I planned it. And then it was super fun to like just pick out. Actually, I picked up my jewelry before I knew that I wanted to wear diamonds and not.
Jewelry, we're doing another episode.
We're doing another episode. But fine, whatever. And then, oh wait, so I have a story about the white lehenga as well. Oh, and by the way, most people don't know this, but I got our wedding date embroidered on one of my dupattas.
Yeah.
So it's there in pink. But I was the happiest with my white lehenga, and I was so happy that I one day wore it at home just to flutter around like an idiot, and it got caught in one of the drawers. Is like the drawers, laminate or whatever was like cut somewhere, and then it got caught in that, and then it ripped a little bit. And oh my god, I cried to mom, I cried to Arishi, I cried to you, I cried to Masi, like I cried to everyone I possibly could. And then Amit, the magician, took it, fixed it. I couldn't even fucking find the tear. Just imagine. So, Amit, if you're listening, I love you.
You can send this to him.
Okay, bye. Cool. And then outfit number 3, my pink outfit. That's what I wore for the reception. What do I say about it?
Describe
It's given
it.
me trauma, is all I want to say.
Where did you find it?
It's okay. What a story. So, every Delhi mom, I'm sure it's every Indian mom, but every Indian mom is not crazy to come to Delhi, but every Delhi mom for sure is gonna tell you, Beta, Chandni Chowk chalte hain. Mama, I know you're listening. I'll never forgive you.
We had a fun time in Chandni Chowk. We made a
बस
reel
जाकर
about
घर
it.
बसा ले उधर जाके.
We made a reel about it.
Whatever.
I have family in Chandni Chowk. I'll take you next.
No, thank
We'll
you.
leave you there.
Okay, so Chandni Chowk, I was like, sure, it's an experience. I did. I do remember being like, no, fuck it, I don't want to go. How much money will you save? Right? Sorry, just. How much money can you possibly save from winning Chandni Chowk? Turns out a lot, but it's not worth it still. Amit, I wish I'd found you earlier.
Yeah, you first went. The first
So,
outfit
yeah.
you found was the pink one.
Yeah,
right?
so actually, we decided the date for the wedding, like I want to say in January around our birthdays when we were in Goa, and then like I think Feb when we were back is when I went to Chandni Chowk for the first time. I feel like we should just do an entire episode on my traumas from Chandni Chowk, but I went with my mom. She was like, we'll take the car and we'll park it at the metro station and then take like an auto to Chandni Chowk. And then we couldn't find the correct route to the correct metro station. And so it was like, we spent 2 hours in like that Jama Masjid area, but not like the Jama Masjid that we all know and love for like the Jama Masjid and the food and everything. It was the back end of some fucking market. It was horrible.
Okay.
I was driving. No. Let me finish. I was driving, and Mama was of no help. Mama and Archit was of no help. He was like, "Are you stupid? Who takes car?" I was like, "That's not gonna help me. How about you tell me what to do next?" Anyway, we finally go and park outside on some fake ass parking off the Jama Masjid metro station, and then from there we take a metro. Because it's different lines apparently, even though it's 2 seconds away from each other. We switched metro lines. Then we reached the Chandni Chowk metro station. Then from there we got an auto, and then we finally reached Chandni Chowk. And this was Feb, so it was pleasant weather. But the sheer number of, and sorry, I went on a fucking Sunday. My fiance did not tell me that I shouldn't go on a Sunday, and I was working, and I went on a Sunday, and it was absolute chaos and torture, and I had 5 breakdowns because I couldn't deal. And I don't know if people know this about I maybe a little bit, but like I'm a big germaphobe, and I just could not deal with the number of people there. They were walking in every direction. They didn't care if they were like hitting you, stepping on you, spitting on you, coughing on you. It was horrible. I would never recommend anybody to go to Chandni Chowk ever.
I love Chandni Chowk.
And by
I
the
think
end of
that's
it,
cool places to go, places to eat. But like, okay, Chandni Chowk 101. You don't take your car to Chandni Chowk.
why
It's
did you
not
tell me
built-
earlier?
Because it's Chandni Chowk 101.
Okay, in my defense, it was the first time I was ever going to Chandni
But your
Chowk, and,
mother wasn't
and
the
the second
first
time,
time.
and the second time my mom was ever going to Chandni Chowk in the last like 15 years at least.
But you always park your car in Central Secretariat
15 साल
or
पहले तो
Rajneet
metro में
Chowk
नहीं
or
होती थी।
Connaught Place. 15 साल पहले होती थी।
Okay, but that was the plan, Archit, to park the car at a metro station. We just got
At
lost.
Chandni Chowk. No, you two crossed Redford and then
We
parked.
got lost. We just didn't know.
They got lost and then they found themselves outside Kareem's in Jama Masjid, and she calls me and just screaming at me at the situation, being like, "What is this? Where am I?" And then she rolls the window and screams at someone else. And I'm just like, "You've taken your car to Chandni Chowk." Like, no one takes their car. No one.
I was going to park it at the metro station.
You know, one of our neighbors has a sari shop in Chandni Chowk. He takes his car to Dwarka, parks it there, and takes the metro to
Okay,
Chandni
you know
Chowk.
what? There's no point dwelling over the past.
This whole episode is dwelling over the past. I don't know what you're talking
You know
about.
what? You are not forgiven for not telling me in advance not to go on a Sunday and take my car.
Sunday ka, I don't know.
And you should have come with me.
I came with you the next time.
Anyway, so by the end of that first horrible experience, I was so done that we finally went to one shop that our friend Sharon had recommended, and I looked at a bunch of things and I was like, "ठीक है, this is one lehenga that I like," and I'm shortlisting in my head. For someone, by the way, coming back to the ethical bit of it for a second, for somebody who is unethically copying designs, these guys are so touchy about taking photos in their shop. I'm like, just shut the fuck up. If I have to, like, I'll find your fucking design on Google because that's where you've copied it from. But no, dare they catch you wearing their fucking outfit and taking a fucking photo, they lose their minds. Anyway, the people are really sweet. They fed us like
But that's everywhere.
everywhere.
And the funny thing is, they're okay with you FaceTiming.
Yeah.
So then what did you guys do?
Actually, I mean, we didn't do it with the lehenga, but a lot of times when we were going jewelry shopping and it was my mom and me and they wanted to take my Masi's opinion, we'd FaceTime her and then just take screenshots of ourselves, like wearing the jewelry, like idiots, right? Like, where is the logic in the wedding business? Is so confusing.
Yes.
But anyway, so February I found the lehenga and shortlisted it, and then I kind of like, I liked it. It was really pretty. And then I was like, forget it, like, I'll just get this done. And so I waited till like June or July, probably July, to go and give my like measurements, and then I got it made. And again, like, you can kind of get it customized. So the original lehenga was actually extremely heavy because it had embroidery everywhere. I got rid of it in a lot of places. It's still a fucking heavy lehenga, like so heavy that it hurts to carry it, and you need two people to carry it. But like, it was one thing I was okay with it. I was okay with, and then it's also heavy because it's got zardozi ka kaam as opposed to just like embellishments. Like, it's not like there's beads in it or Swarovski in it that's making it heavy. It's just that they've used wire to do embroidery, and that's why it's heavy. The wire actually is really pretty, like rose gold and not a typical gold or silver, so it complements the entire outfit really well. The blouse I was not convinced by, but then it turned out to be cute.
Yeah.
The dupatta I really liked. Actually, the dupatta was the one that is what sold me on that lehenga. I didn't really care about the lehenga, but I thought the chunni was so pretty and I must have it. And they refused to sell it to me as a single piece. So I was like, ठीक है यार, lehenga बनवा लेते हैं. That they claim, and I don't know if this is true, is a copy of an Abu Jani Sandeep Khosla design. And I don't think the whole thing is, it's like, it's inspired by the stuff that these men do, and then like a bit of the Chandni Chowk man's designs, I'm guessing. It was a headache getting it made because they couldn't get my measurements right. So, I mean, they must have gotten it right. I don't know. I could have lost weight by the time that I tried it out, but like I can't believe that I must have lost so much weight that it was 2 inches too big for me, or like 4 inches too long for me. The length was wrong anyway. But
Yeah,
like
you shortened
even, even I mean, actually, I feel like I'm gonna give them the long length, because by the end of it, I was like, no, I'll only wear 1 inch heels. But yeah, I had to get it resized 2-3 times. Once Archit came with us to Chandni Chowk, and that was the first time I went and gave my measurements actually. And then after that, like we just gave up and we're like, just fucking come to our house and deliver it to us, and we pay that extra money because it's not worth going to Chandni Chowk. And then to make up for the headache, they gave me a freak a potli. A potli is a tiny little like bag that you carry for those who don't understand, but it didn't look like a bag. It looked like a water bottle. Remember? So, and everybody knows this. I had once gone for a food tasting to ITC and I stole their water bottle because it had a really cute, like, it was a cute, like, glass bottle and it had a really cute,
Metal top.
yeah, like rose gold metal top, and I whacked it and it matched perfectly with my potli and my lehenga. But I obviously didn't carry it to the wedding. But yeah, that's my outfits.
Cool.
Any questions?
I think just 5 top tips for anyone who's searching for wedding clothes. For brides searching for wedding clothes.
Okay,
1.
figure out your personal style.
2.
Find inspiration everywhere.
3.
Fight the battles because they're totally worth fighting.
4.
Oh my god, this is so hard. Just be comfortable, I guess.
Good. 5.
Yeah. And oh, I actually missed something, so this can be my 5th, and it's a slightly longer thing, but like our lehengas need can because if you don't have that like additional skirt of can, your lehenga will fall flat and not like open wide. One thing I did for both my white and my pink lehenga was I got a separate can skirt made as opposed to it being attached to the lehenga, because 1, it's easier to store like that. 2, you have control over the can being used. So some can can be like really tight and hard, and you can also get loose ones. You can get that done even otherwise, but then like it's just a pain. And yeah, just get an extra can skirt, and then you can repurpose that for other lehengas that don't have can. So I think that was a genius move on my part. I was really happy with it. I do think though that it was visible with my pink outfit when I was dancing because it was white, and then you could see the nada.
No, yeah.
Nada is
Drawstring.
drawstring.
Who are you translating for?
I don't know.
The people who are listening to this are Desis.
How do you know that?
Because otherwise, why are they listening to a whole Desi wedding?
Maybe they want to attend. Maybe they'll marry somebody who's Desi.
Then they'll have to learn Nara expert.
Anyway, so those were my wedding outfits. That's a roundup of my wedding outfits. If you guys have questions, I fucking love to talk about this. So just DM me.
She loves to talk.
But
about
instead of-
Don't DM me.
No. Don't DM me either. Just
No, DM me.
No, just comment on our YouTube page.
On our YouTube video.
On our YouTube video. Or comment on the podcast on like Spotify or Apple or whatever you listen.
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. Well, that was a roundup of our wedding. We're gonna come back next week and talk about something more fun. We don't know. I don't know.
I know what I want to talk about.
Oh, good. Because I didn't. But yeah, we're going to catch you next week and
Bye.